Welcome to the DAO Factor. I'm your host, Lisa Yu. I'm a crypto and tech investor, entrepreneur, and speaker. I got into crypto in 2017 when I took rental payments in Ethereum, and since then have invested and advised dozens of companies in tech and in Web3. For those who are new to DAOs, a DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization that's taking the world by storm. Today, I'm super excited to introduce to you our guest, Yury Lifshits, founder of Superdao, who is helping to launch 1 million DAOs. Superdao is an all-in-one DAO platform that makes it easy to start and operate decentralized autonomous organizations. With Superdao, you can create a DAO in one click, generate smart contracts for NFTs and tokens, and so much more. Their mission is to unlock the full potential of human coordination and empower groups of people to do more together. Yury, welcome to the podcast. I'm excited to hear your story and to learn more about you and Superdao.
Thank you, Lisa. We're very excited to be here.
Yeah, super excited to have you. What are you most passionate about and what motivates you to wake up every day?
Well, we truly believe crypto is helpful. It can do good things, but it is too hard to use. What motivates us is to make it easier to use, so anyone, no matter how technical or non-technical they are, can use crypto, and specifically in the context of business and organizations, and bring existing businesses to become them more crypto ready, or start new organizations from scratch and build them in a kind of crypto native way.
I love that. And what inspired you to start Superdao?
Well, I always build some tools for communities. I've built communities before. All my previous companies were about communities, big events and co-working spaces and messenger for communities. And the last business didn't work out as a business. It was great product, great technology, not a good business. So we had to shut it down. And when I was looking around and see what's next for community, I saw the rise of DAOs. And a DAO is essentially a community with financial powers. And I saw that I can build tools for that. I was inspired by the idea of a DAO, but so that the tools are not there for the mainstream non-technical creators. The existing tools were too hard to use for people who not really into crypto that much, and got started right away. I actually ran a list of ideas. And so I just throw a bunch of ideas to my friends and ask them to pick the best one. And after I introduced them the idea that I will do a one-click DAO creation, they just never picked any other idea. They will always point it to that idea and say, you should do that. And moreover, they say, like, we will be a customer, so like we will use it ourselves. And then I realized, okay, I guess that's what I need to do.
Yeah, you just talk to all your friends who are building DAOs and everyone needed tools. And you're like, well, I've built this before, I can build it again. And you decided to create a whole market out of it. That's awesome.
Yep. Yeah, that was the path. And we started really quick. So we are around 8 months old. We started in October 2021, specifically October 11. And so October 11, I wrote a 2-page Notion document and I sent it to, I don't know, 10 friends, some of them investors, some not. And they sent to a few more people. And by Friday, October 15, we had $5 million worth of kind of pre-seed funding offers. And so we closed 1 million out of those 5, like within the same week. And I registered the company the same week and opened a bank account the same week. So this all happened between, October 15 and 11. And then we raised like a huge seed round 2 months later. So
wow, incredible. No, I saw the news. You raised over $10 million at 160 million valuation. That's
yes,
great.
that big numbers. And that's not the crazy part. Now, the crazy part is, so I started myself. I'm a solo founder. So October 11, it was just me. In December, when we were working on the seed round, it was about 15 people. And now we are over 100.
Already? Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
incredible.
That's not very common for seed stage startups.
Yeah. Well, you have the capital for it. So I'm so happy that you're able to rally a big team and get people on board. You're tackling this market, and how did you know this was going to work? Like, what problems or gaps did you see in the DAO market, and how are you looking to solve it?
Well, number one, starting DAOs was hard. So most people do it in a custom way. So they hired smart contract developer. They would talk to lawyers. So there was no template. There was no one-click creation. Second, existing infrastructure was presuming you start with a token. So you start a token, start selling and buying token, and then the project will appear around the token, which is not the way new DAOs are created. People are really afraid and hesitant to start with the token, and for the good reason. It might be seen as a security, as a promise of future profits. You don't yet have a utility to, you don't have the necessary level of decentralization around the project because it's basically just you. And so most new projects start with NFT membership. They delay the token. They might give token warrants, the promises of future tokens to the team, to the investors. They delayed kind of the tradable token phase. So the Superdao infrastructure built for those DAO creators, for people who build DAOs in a new way, in a modern way, in a flexible way, in centralized at the start, decentralized later way. And so before Superdao, there was not much tools for that kind of approach. The tools assumed like you start with a token and you already maybe have a decentralized financial protocol behind you. And most new DAOs don't have that.
So it seems like with the rise of DAOs, you're seeing there's the demand, and there's about 5,000 DAOs and 1 million DAO members now. So we're still in the very early stages. How are you looking to bridge the DAO leaders and the members? Like beyond the tools, how are you looking to bridge the gap between the two?
Well, one way we do it is that we encourage a lot of people to join as a member of someone else's DAO first, to experience it at the member level in someone else's project, maybe contribute a little bit, maybe earn some tokens or NFTs from someone else's project. And then over time say, okay, now I got it. I know why it's cool, why, like what advantages it brings, what new kind of human behavior it encourages. And now I'm ready to become a DAO creator myself. And so it's not just, bridging the gap within a single DAO. It's more like you are a member of one DAO today, you're a creator of another DAO tomorrow.
Yeah, since it acts as a marketplace, you can first go to your page. There's a directory that I saw of existing DAOs that you can join. And then once you get a hang of being a member and being part and a participant of the DAO, then all the tools are available to now be a DAO leader. So that's really awesome that there's kind of this two-sided marketplace for people to both join and to lead DAOs.
That's our approach.
That's awesome. And do you think all companies and organizations in the future, whether it's for-profit or nonprofit, will become DAO someday?
No. So I think the different thing will happen. So first we'll have a stream of DAO, like crypto native organizations. The organizations that are built from scratch using Web3 principles, like they store the information on the blockchain, they over time decentralize the governance, they use tokens instead of shares, they try to do things in a programmable way. When something good happens, people get token automatically. When people kind of take from the network, they have to buy or spend or burn tokens. So kind of in a like more composable, more integratable, kind of interoperable way. So that's kind of one stream of organizations, completely new, original, crypto native, built from ground up organizations. There will be a huge number of those and growing every time, but they are not the only ones. We have a lot of existing businesses, media, events, sports, entertainment, who would not completely become DAOs, but rather kind of embrace crypto in some way, small to medium way. They might do NFT tickets. They might do creator fund based on crypto. They might pay their ambassadors with crypto. They might create a loyalty program in the form of a DAO when their customers can vote on important decisions. They might give a minority ownership in a sports team to a DAO that represent fans. So a bunch of things like that. So it's more like crypto enablement of existing businesses. And we are equally bullish of that. So we think existing traditional businesses should embrace crypto in small and medium ways. And at the same time, the new organizations who are like free to choose the path, they most likely to be on a way to become DAO, but probably again, it's not like they start as a fully decentralized organization right away. They probably start as an operating team or traditional entity as an anchor company, and then they build a DAO as decentralized network on top or above, kind of level above the original company. So there will be company plus a DAO.
Almost like there's like a DAO arm to manage the crypto activities.
more like a DAO head because it
A
lives
DAO head,
kinda
yeah. I saw on your
above.
website, you listed some of the DAO superpowers, like you can issue equity, raise funds with tokens, and make decisions, manage voting, operate on a global scale. That all sounds really incredible. Can you kind of walk us through kind of what a product experience might look like for a DAO leader?
I would specifically talk about SuperDAO, company DAO creation platform, but probably similar in other ways as well. So creating the DAO today with SuperDAO is a one-click experience. The only thing we need is a single Ethereum wallet address of one of the founders. So just to know who has the admin privileges and who can make changes and decisions, at least early on. So you enter kind of your Ethereum address, and that's enough to start what we call a DAO workspace. So a DAO workspace, it's a place where things happening. It's a web application that you can log in with your wallet. And if you're a member of the DAO, you will be let in. And if not, then not. And there you can configure your NFT membership. So NFT membership is a set of tiers, kind of groups of NFTs. Each tier has its own limit. You might have a tiers like core team and active contributors and members, advisors, strategic partners, early adopters, black diamond, whatever, legendary, epic, penguins, whatever you like. And so you can airdrop or sell them to members. So you see an advisor, you can either send them as a gift, NFT membership, or you can sell it. And most DAOs start with gift approach. So they would and in crypto language, it's airdropping.
Yeah.
So they would airdrop the NFT membership to the close allies and core team members and partners. And yeah, so you airdrop a bunch of memberships, and so the people can log in with their wallets to your workspace. So that's kind of step one, NFT membership. The step two is you can have like a same artwork for the tier. So everyone who is an advisor get the same image, or you can personalize. So like all the advisors have some sort of personalized version of the same image or video. So the next step is kind of the operating side. So you have member directory, you have a news feed, you have a voting area, and you have a treasury area. And in SuperDAO, we are very kind of careful with treasury. So it's a bunch of wallets on different chains holding different kind of assets, NFTs and tokens. But they're not necessarily under the full control of a DAO. They're more like associated treasury. So some wallets can belong to individual members of the DAO or to the operating team. Some might be under full control of the full community, and others are not really. But you see basically the total wealth of the community under a variety of kind of control mechanisms. Very much like, the Google or Facebooks of the world, they have so many, like a Byzantine network of companies and subsidiaries and bank accounts in different jurisdictions and the different rules. And you never it's not like, I don't know how many bank accounts does Google have, and they all owned by different entities and different jurisdictions and the different taxes and different laws and different currencies, collecting revenue streams from different geographies and the different tax regimes. So the DAO the same. So one DAO not equal one wallet, one DAO equal a network of wallets. And so we allow you to kind of visualize, we call it treasury dashboard effectively. So when you want to spend money from treasury, you can start in SuperDAO, describe the payment you want to make, and then we kind of redirect you to the page that is more like where your wallet lives. It can be multi-signature wallet, individual signature wallet, and then you kind of complete the transaction there. So we help you kind of plan the transactions, but you can't really lose money or send money or spend money right now directly from SuperDAO, which is make it very safe because you can't make any mistake. And the voting area, it's currently what is called off-chain governance. That means people can vote like, hey, let's make this investment, or let's promote that person to that role. But again, the people who actually control the wallets, kind of the financial team, treasury team of the DAO would need to have a final say. So they need to finally approve. That's the safe and easy kind of early stage setup for most DAOs. When the DAO is huge, then you don't want that. You don't want like a random 10 people who actually can't block any decision. At that point, you want what's called on-chain governance. So if the vote was fully kind of up to the standard, then the decision is executed automatically. No one can stop it. But you don't want to do it early.
Yeah. For those who are new to airdrops, these are gifts that are placed in your wallets. That's definitely a gift that I love to receive by surprise. It's really nice to have tokens or NFTs airdropped, and then when they go up in value, it's a nice surprise. I've been observing DAOs for quite some time now, and I think they're very similar to a co-op. So for any listeners who are new to DAOs, co-ops are autonomous associations of people that choose to cooperate over a common economic, social, or cultural need, and are jointly owned and democratically controlled enterprise. And these are some of the values that I see: democracy, self-help, self-responsibility, self-sovereignty, equity, equality, and solidarity. So are those kind of the values that you're seeing also come up as themes in DAOs?
Sometimes, yes, but I think there is this full diversity of cultures in DAOs. Different DAOs follow different cultures. Some DAOs are huge, tens of thousands, so I don't know, more members. Some are tiny, 5 members, 1 member, not one, 2 members. So they have different culture, different level of trust. I think the values that you described were more like human values. There is also technical values, things like the data ownership. So if I do something in this DAO, or they got me a level, or they got me like a special NFT, then they can't take it away. It's in my wallet. I have property rights over it. Even the DAO does not stop existing. I still have the DAO, like the NFT, things like that. So there's data ownership. There are different approaches to privacy. There is and transparency, because everything on chain. So the DAO cannot really manage money in a way that you don't. So you can verify how much money the DAO has, or where the money go, where they're coming from, how much, whether they actually did the money movement as they promised. So there is kind of different technical culture as well, not just the human culture.
Yeah, I think the key is co-ownership and control. So rather than ownership being concentrated and controlled at the top by a single authority or board, ownership is decentralized amongst the people. And it's almost would be as if Uber and Lyft drivers actually got shares of a company for contributing to the business, rather than just being contractors with no employee benefits.
I actually, not to say disagree, but I think the life is actually richer than what you described. So you described 1 or 2 values, and you say, well, the DAOs can be narrowed down to those couple founding principles. And I would say there are actually more founding principles, and you don't see all of them in every DAO. So another kind of big principle is an idea of incentive design. So if the DAO eventually has a token, you can say, do something good and get a token, or do something bad or get the value from the DAO, and then you need to pay the token or burn the token or like spend the token in some way. And so then people do more good things, or they're more conscious when they extract the value from the DAO. And therefore, you kind of programmatically create a system that encourages certain types of behavior. And so this is programming and incentivizing human behavior. Some say this is the most important principle for the DAO. This is kind of programmable human behavior systems. But some other DAOs are like, no, this is not a part of our lifestyle at all. We don't even have a token. So, and others say, yeah, ownership is the most important thing. And others say, no, we're actually owned by a single person and we're still a DAO. I think that there were like a variety of principles, and not every principle applied. There was like narrow definition of the DAO, the kind of decentralized autonomous organization, but the more broad definition is like crypto native organization, or organization that kind of governs itself on chain instead of the legal system of a national government.
Yeah.
And so in that definition, there are much higher variety of use cases.
And there's such a variety and diversity of DAOs out there that those core values might change, but it's the technical pieces that remain the same. And I like what you said about the incentive structure, because it's the DAOs as a way to govern and to incentivize people for certain behaviors. And each DAO can have their own smart contracts with their own set of agreements amongst the members. And then the voting can help guide the direction of where the DAO will go, whether it's new members, decisions, which new values that they take on. And your tool, helps to manage all of that.
Yeah. So you can airdrop NFT memberships to people who listen to your podcast in the random moments of the podcast, like in the 37-minute of the episode.
Hey.
And so the people who listen, the people who listen like carefully enough and claim the airdrop and get the NFT, they can vote on your next episode, on the next guest, on the next question for the next guest. So yeah, you can do things like that.
I love that. Well, switching gears, I want to talk more about the heart behind building community and kind of the human element. Beyond the tools, it's really the people behind it, the genuine connections we build with the tribe that has shared values, goals, aspirations. And when these humans come together, the power of the collective is stronger than the self. What have you found has been instrumental in building the communities that you've built in the past? And what is the heart behind it?
Yeah, I'll give you like a very cynical version, which I never gave before. So this is a new piece. So there were
on this podcast.
yeah, the debut new insight. So there are kind of a good reason for community and a bad reason for, like, let's say a positive motivation behind community, and then let's say negative motivation. So the positive motivation would be something like, we all like a good thing, we all like that to happen, or we like that is already happening, and we band together and spend more time together because we want that to continue or to become a reality. And so we want to help each other to make it a reality. We all benefit if it'll become or continue to become a reality, things like that. I don't know, fans of like a TV series or a game or like like a project,
like sports.
Sports fans would be great. Yeah. So now the other one is like, you didn't really seek the community, you bought into a product or something, or like, and then that thing went terribly wrong, and like you start losing money, or like that thing doesn't work as advertised. And now you see community of people who are in the same trouble as you. And so like, hey, we're all in the same trouble. We actually didn't really had any friendly feeling to each other, but we all hurt by the same kind of tragedy. And so we need
bonding. Basically, you're talking about trauma bonding.
Yeah. So it can be people with cancer. It can be people who bought Luna. Or yeah. So yeah, so the former Luna holders, so that's a different kind of community, because it's not like you aspire to something good together, but you got hit by the same bad thing, and now you're like, okay, so what's next for us? I bet the Discord for Luna got really active.
I'm sure.
Recently. And so that means like the people had very little in common, a very little desire to spend money together when things were good. But because like, okay, so you got 20% like interest rate on Anchor, and then when you lost all your money, now you have something to talk about.
So build community, one towards a shared positive aspiration, and the other to console each other and support each other during a time of loss or grief.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that some of the strongest communities coming from the second scenario, and from the loss. And so I wouldn't discount that. I think those communities are valuable, and some good things coming out of it. And they create a very strong reason for people to come closer to each other. I live in San Francisco, so a next earthquake will make the city a community, but I don't know if it comes or when, but I think that's when the city becomes a community.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like whenever during war times, there's kind of a unified civil engagement, because you're
like yes,
you stick together because there's like a common enemy. For example, you see this in history oftentimes when a culture is strengthened, when there's either a shared loss or a shared enemy or a shared challenge. I think even during COVID times, there was this sense of, now people want to join communities because there was a huge gap in isolation. And I think a lot of people are still coming out of that.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like our culture is shifting now from a selfie culture to a tribe culture. So I feel like this is the heart of Web3, right? It's like that collective, the decentralized ownership, value creation, where everyone has a vote, everyone has a voice. Are you sensing this? Do you feel like this desire to join tribes again is propelling this, DAO creation and more people to gather?
As we get older, like each individual person, we get like a big hole in our heart. We need to find the source of meaning and purpose. And so far, there are kind of there have been two primary ways to feel meaning, like your life meaningful. One is creation, do something, I don't know, create content, raise a child, do good work. Another one is consumption. I don't know, going to a great concert or like travel the world or like get a great vacation. So you're trying to feel like your life was not meaningless either by consuming or by creating. So the reality is having meaning through creation became insanely hard because of globalization. Like I've been like great at playing tennis or basketball in my village, but now I can watch YouTube and understand that I'm nothing like comparing to the pro athletes, and like everyone compete with everyone else. So I never feel good about my chess skills or my sports skills or my design skills or my Twitter skills or my Instagram skills. I'm never the best because I see the best. It's a one click away to see the best. And the best in 7 billions is typically not me. So I never feel like I'm like the world will lose anything if I cease to exist in terms of creation, unless I'm the absolute number one in a certain skill. Consumption feels very empty. I can consume all the things in the world, like all the clothes or all the real estate, like living or whatever, does not feel meaningful. And so at the end of the day, so what you're looking at, when I say meaningful versus meaningless, I mean maybe recognition by others. Like we as social animals, we want that others say Yury is an okay person, like Yury is fine, kind of. So yeah, I either need to be like, yeah, like top of my game in my, yeah, I need to be the top of my game in the what I do, or I need to be over the top consumer, and both are kind of
interesting,
not really available. If you're like, your education is okay, your wealth is okay, your job is okay, your consumption is okay, then you're never an exceptional and no one cares. And especially as you get older, as you get distant from the friends of your childhood, you move couple cities, you, I don't know, maybe had a separation in the family, whatnot. And then like 3 people in the world who care about you, and one of them is your mom. And and so when you say people seek tribes or people seek collective, what people seek, and they seek a third way to find meaning and to find recognition of others. So they can't produce content like, yeah, let's start a podcast, but do we catch, I don't know, Tim Ferriss or someone? I don't know, probably not. So where's our meaning? Where is we best? When people say, oh, this was great. And so by joining a community or a DAO or seeking status, and it's like, hey, I'm not the best at anything, but I'm part of something that is great. So essentially you're saying, okay, I give up on individual achievement because I never be like number one personally in something, but I can be like a fan of Golden State Warriors and they maybe will win a championship. And now I feel like I'm the best in the world because I'm the fan of the team that just won. And so this is for people to feel big meaning through a collective effort rather than small meaning from the individual achievement or lack of that. So I think that's the reason. It's not that just you seek other people, you want to feel as a small part of a big win than a big part of a small mediocre kind of achievement.
Yeah, no, this is very insightful. I think you kind of nailed it in terms of we're all seeking meaning and significance. And so you can either do that as a solo player, right? Or you can do that as part of a team and part of a collective. And whether you are, one of the team members of the winning basketball team or a fan of one, you can still kind of join in the celebration of being part of something greater.
Yeah, I think there was also an ugly part to this, which is, I think this is the same reason why old people support war, is because they no longer feel like they can achieve anything in life personally. So they want their country to win, or they want their country to achieve a victory, or like be seen as a strong or something. And so they want to see, because they have the voting power, because the older people are more politically active, so they feel they drive the results, and that's and also they will not be conscripted. So I guess they don't pay for it with their lives, but at the same time feel like they are winning as a team, as a nation state.
It's interesting because I feel like a lot of young people today are very against war, and
because they still believe they can achieve individual success. So they don't need the feeling of a national pride as a form of self, like a source of self-esteem. So they derive self-esteem from their personal work more than from the nation state.
So you talked about, creating as kind of a way to establish kind of a sense of joy. How about just creating together? Can there be a blend of the two states?
Yes. So what we've seen today is that there is kind of the aspiration and reality with DAOs. So the aspiration is, let's come together. We share a purpose. We want to build some beautiful thing together. Let's all work together and collaborate, and together we can achieve more than as individuals. Reality is there is a lot of complex work, like designing an airplane or shooting a Hollywood class movie or AAA game. It's hard to decentralize. So you can't decentralize artistic vision. Essentially, what you can decentralize is something that is highly parallel. It's very hard to decentralize, for example, the podcast host. Like, you're unique and interesting, and people would want to follow you as a person who asks questions and bring guests and whatnot. But you can decentralize maybe questions. So you can make votes on which questions would be asked, or you might decentralize the guest scouting. So, but the host job, like if you would like vote on the next host for every podcast episode, I bet that podcast would be not very popular.
I see.
So essentially, there is a role of kind of more like core operating team that is more like full-time commitment, trying your best, one superstar or a few, like a small number of superstars. And then there is like a long tail of small contributions or like parallel contributions, or something where like a million people together can kind of actually do better work than 10 stars.
Yeah, I agree. I see that you have a bold goal of onboarding 1 million DAOs. How do you plan to do it, and how can people find out more?
Yeah, another exclusive specifically for this podcast. I think just today we hit a goal of deploying 1,000 DAOs on chain.
Yay! And including me, I just joined the Superdao as a DAO hero, and that was super easy. So I'm part of the original 1,000 as I started. Yeah.
Perfect. Welcome. You now have your DAO workspace. And so you can rename it with the name of the podcast, and you can actually drop your own NFTs to the listeners and let them vote on your next episode, and the guests and the questions and all of that. Yeah, so learning more about us, we called Superdao. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us everywhere. My name is Yury Lifshits. You can find me on Twitter and Telegram and other places. I read every incoming message. I sometimes reply 1 month later. So I'm not great at the DMs, but you can also just apply on the website, and someone on my team will reach out much faster than me.
And what are your long-term goals for Superdao? Like, let's say you hit the 1 million DAOs get started and funded. What would be that next leap for Superdao?
Well, the million DAOs would be a journey. So don't thinking too much ahead, but a few things. One is global opportunity. I really hope that the crypto employment and DAOs will make it a level the playing field. So the persons from every country will have equal chance to succeed in DAO economy and achieve, great compensation and leadership roles and career, regardless which country and which background they're coming from. So that would be great, because it's more anonymous. It's more that, hey, everyone just start with a blockchain wallet address, and then it's up to you what contributions you make, how you make others support your work, and what you can create. And you have the same kind of set of laws or software rules that govern all the DAOs, doesn't matter where you are originally from. So the same kind of, hopefully, taxation system and whatnot. So that's one. The second one, I think really DAOs a huge opportunity for Gen Z, for new generation. So I want to see more Gen Z billionaires at the same time, in a way that like you sometimes feel when you come to the world that you are late. Everything is taken. Like, your idea was to build a railroad, and all the railroad are built. And then your idea was to build a bank, and now all the banks are built. And then your idea was to build a traditional internet company, and now Google and Facebook cover kind of the whole internet with all their services. And you're like, hey, all best opportunities are taken from me. It's not fair. Like those old people, it's just, I don't know, they took all the good ideas and medium-sized ideas and just executed them well enough to build a monopoly. And so a new player can't enter. And so Web3 is this unique new market where somehow the previous generation are completely at disadvantage, because their way of thinking and their approach and their readiness and their readiness to go to sacrifices, so really learn everything from scratch, or just unlearn what they already learned that works great in Web 2, works poorly in Web 3. So they are at disadvantage. And so that's the area where a new generation who are under-recognized, underappreciated, and not promoted to leadership roles, like, hey, wait until your manager retires type of situation, that's where they can go straight to the top. My dream with Superdao is just to create more global leaders from Gen Z.
And for the industry leaders out there, which industries can use this tool? Is it across any industry?
Yeah, it's for every industry. So again, if you start something Web3 native, if you build like a DAO from scratch, a Superdao is a good choice. But also if you want to experiment with crypto as a organizer of an event or host of a podcast, a YouTuber, TikToker, a music star, record label, a social media marketing agency, digital agency, advertising agency, web development agency, a local government, I don't know, like whatever like traditional company or non-profit company organization you are, you are welcome to try Superdao. And we built a lot of like easy to use kind of use cases or situations where you don't need to commit to build a full DAO and whole separate individual organization. You can create a DAO account, the same name as your existing company, and just start using crypto tools here and there, like as needed, without kind of overstretching yourself.
It's awesome. Well, what is your advice to people who are just getting into Web3 and deciding if they should start or join a DAO?
Subscribe to our YouTube channel. So we have a YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel. It's called DAO Heroes. We put a lot of content there for exactly those type of people who's starting in Web3. Generally, YouTube is a good starting point. Podcasts like this one is a good starting point. Find the inspiration role models, people who run cool DAO organizations, learn from them, join as a contributor, few organizations, then start building your own, make friends, build something with friends, go for short-term projects, participate in hackathons before you go for the long-term projects, not forever. It's just a good starting point. Maybe write a lot, just write what you've learned, write the secondary experience, interview people, learn from second-hand knowledge alongside with first-hand knowledge, build a chat group of friends, 10 friends, 100 friends, discuss things together, build, like when you say find your tribe, it's more like find the 10 people who would talk to you and at a regular basis. That's a good starting point.
Well, just to wrap up, what is a personal motto that you live by or a quote that inspires you?
Speed is everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we believe kind of crypto as an industry operates in much faster kind of clock speed. And what kind of seed stage startup or a founder would expect to accomplish in 3 years, you would expect yourself to accomplish in 1 year. Same with fundraising, with hiring, with software development, with marketing, with adoption, even like scheduling a meeting. So in Web 2, you reach out to someone and they say, yeah, let's talk next week. And in Web 2 is like tomorrow, never. Like there's like if we talk tomorrow. And like
we just got introduced last week, and then here you are on my podcast. So you're right.
Yeah. That was super late, like super slow.
Okay. Compared to Web3, this is really good. 1 week.
Yeah. So things are happening quickly. People lose interest quickly and switch projects quickly. Basically, people call it fluidity, like fluidity of talent. The talent flows to opportunity, opportunity flows to talent. Like if something is not the best use of your time, you realign with what is best use of your time. So like less commitment. It's not like, hey, I'm at this job for 10 years. So it's there are downside to this as well. But things are happening quickly when they work.
Yeah, because you're laser focused on the task when you're committed in the moment, but you're not committing to a job for 30 years like the previous generations.
Yeah, short-term commitments, no longer-term commitments. Like one example would be in startup world, you get the equity shares, and then maybe 5-7 years later, the company listed on the NASDAQ, and so you can sell them. And so the upside and the company, and here, like you get tokens, and tokens are liquid tomorrow, and so you can sell them right away and hold them and then buy them again. And so the culture around tokens is much more short-term than it is around stock.
Mm-hmm. And the upside can be much greater.
Yeah, and downside as well.
Well, awesome. Thank you, Yury, for joining our podcast. It's been so great getting to know you and your vision to help 1 million DAOs. I look forward to starting my DAO and having a super tool to manage my own community. So thank you so much.
Sounds good and welcome.
So,
Thanks, everyone.
thank you. Thanks for joining us this week on Season 1 of The DAO Factor. Follow The DAO Factor on Twitter and YouTube to watch videos of our podcast, where we'll be dropping a new video every week featuring key leaders of DAOs, community builders, and leaders in Web3.